Welcome to round 2 of the Bridgestone production cars in Cape Town Killarney racetrack.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition.
This is the West Bank Super Series.
In this show, we pick up on round 2 action from Killarney. The mother city had some serious problems when Bridgestone production cars hit the tar for the first time, and a little bit of the dirt as well. In the qualifying, it was very tight and tense affair because with the new format of racing, Steve, it meant that you had to get to the front of the qualifying grid.
The most impressive thing is we've got some of the biggest manufacturers in motor racing in South Africa all converging on Cape Town. It's going to be a wicked day.
It certainly was. Anthony Taylor looked like he was going to be the man to beat, but all of a sudden, the Indy Oils Audi of local man, Johan Fourie, started to step up the pace, and it was going to be him to be on the front row, but he was outdone right at the end of qualifying by Priest, who put it on pole, and that was his very first pole for the season. Second on the grid, Johan Fourie.
Third on the grid, Anthony Taylor, Michael Stephen in the engine Audi Extreme.
On the third road was Leroy Poulter and Marco D'Acunha, the teammates.
Chop Sapuka in the Audi and Lee Thompson in the BMW.
Groenewald and Pinard right at the back, still getting to grips with their cars.
Melville Priest on pole. Are you surprised by this, Melville?
Yeah, I am rather. We were probably 2/10 off Anthony, my teammate, and about another half a second off Johan the whole day yesterday. So we found a lot overnight. The car was excellent in qualifying. It was on the edge lap all the way. And, you know, sometimes you get them right, sometimes you don't, and I sure got it right today.
Johan Fourie, rating champion. Did you expect pole to be easy? I mean, historically, the Audis run really well here.
Yeah, throughout yesterday we were setting the pace. We had a comfortable margin, 0.6, 0.5 and 0.4 in the 3 sessions, so we were a little bit disappointed on not having pole. The BM seemed to turn the boost up because, I mean, Mel went over a second half faster, so we're a little bit surprised, but we got pole for the 30, so we're really happy about that. And it seems like the progress we made since Killarney, we had a little bit of homework to do, but since Killarney we definitely improved, so now hopefully we can take it forward and hopefully turn into a couple of race wins today.
Four-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive. The front 2 cars are going to be the guys to watch out for down towards West Bank corner, turn 1. But it's all about Melville Priest holding them up pretty carefully here. As the lights go out, we are racing. And down towards West Bank corner, it looks like the BMWs have got the drop on the Audi. Taylor going to try up the inside as we go inside the office with Leroy Poulter.
West Bank is a demanding corner, and of course the course is a demanding course. It's very innocuous at times, but you have to be technically good as well.
Around the outside, you can see the Indy Oils Audi putting pressure onto the Afrox BMW. Taylor wants to get up there and run the tail gunner roll for his teammate, but he can't do it because into turn 2 engine corner, it's the Indy Oils Audi, and look how close they get. Wow, that's real close.
He's been quick all Friday, and of course Saturday he's just got pit, but gee, he can ride.
He certainly can. So, at the front, we've got Melville Priest. It is Johan Fourie in second place, Taylor, then Poulter. Then we've got Michael Stephen, D'Acunha, Chop Sapuka. There's Lee Thompson in the Rough Rider BMW, and the Subaru and Lotus right at the back.
All the way through to Malmesbury, it's a double apex, and you've got to be careful there because if you get too much drive, you're off on the left-hand side. All the way down to the back straight, and Cape Town corner is looming.
Check how close this is, and look at the power of this Nissan as they go down the back straight, trying to get onto the back end there of Taylor. Taylor's going to try and get ahead of Johan Fourie as quickly as possible, but onto the braking markers, into Cape Town corner for the first time. And once again, we go with the rear-facing view, and wow, there were 4 rings in looked like there was only one there on that Audi as they came so close.
It could be in his own movie, up close and personal.
Certainly could, but look at Michael Stephen. He's starting to get up close and personal too. But this is world-class racing. Heading down towards turn 1. This is only lap 1. We've got 5 to go still.
All the action right here at Cape Town, Killarney. Of course, it's been around since 1949, believe it or not, Greg.
Up the inside, look at that. Taylor going to make a move. Yeah, he starts to force the Audi wide. We go on board with Leroy Poulter. Best seat in the house. You can't ask for closer action than this. As they head down towards engine corner, can the Audi keep it on the inside? Yes, he can. But Taylor's putting massive pressure onto Johan Fourie as they come through engine corner.
Good line for Johan Fourie in that Audi. And boy, he's been very, very quick, but he's under tremendous pressure. They'll head on down to the shell sweep, and this is where the action starts to heat up, Greg.
It certainly does. A little bit of bar bashing and window bashing there between the Nissan and the BMW. Leroy Poulter wanted through, but Taylor wasn't going to. He has to try and keep everybody else at bay and as quickly as possible get ahead of Johan Fourie. But the way that Fourie is driving around the circuit, I don't think anybody's got an answer except for Melville Priest.
Leroy Poulter in that 350s Nissan's looking quite good. I like the way he drives. He's always very, very smooth.
Absolutely. He comes from a long history of racing. He started out in karting. He's done a bit of single-seaters. He's been in saloon car racing. Actually an ex-champion in this particular category as well. And look at the battle scars on Taylor's side of his car. He's a world champion karter, and Leroy Poulter cannot get ahead of the man in that Afrox BMW, Anthony Taylor.
Actually, Greg, this is world-class racing. We've got it here in Cape Town, South Africa.
No doubt about it, Steve. As they come across the line, this is lap number 2. Around the outside, Taylor might have what it takes on the brakes to outdo Johan Fourie, but this is Johan Fourie's home ground. And he gets through. I can't believe how quick that BMW went around the outside. It's BM's 1 and 2. Fourie's up into 3rd place now, and Poulter is now looking to attack that Indy Oils Audi.
I can't believe where he's finding the speed, because Johan was quicker all Friday in practice, and when it came down to qualifying on the Saturday, let's take up the action. They're into engine corner, Greg.
All of a sudden, it is 5 cars in with a chance of getting onto the podium. The first man has got away. The pole sitter, Melville Priest, is dominating down here, but his teammate has now got into the position that he needed to do earlier on. Oh, speaking of teammates, up the inside, Michael Stephen, good friends with Leroy Poulter, just sneaks way up the inside. He's not happy about that.
No, he's not. Was that a hand or a finger? I gotta tell you, Greg, I thought I saw yellow. This could have ramifications.
Big time. If he's gone and overtaken Leroy Poulter under yellow, that might cost Michael Stephen a couple of positions later on. We're getting into the halfway mark of this race as they head down the back straightaway. Johan Fourie is back on and pressurizing Taylor in the second of the Afrox BMWs into Cape Town corner. He tries around the outside. Can he get the drive? He has got the 4-wheel drive quattro system there. He even uses the inside of the corner as they come out, but the rear-wheel drive BMW is hanging on for dear life.
Anthony Taylor is no mug, and Johan Fourie knows this as well.
1.5 laps to go as they come into Malmesbury one more time. BMW's 1 and 2, Audis 3 and 4 now. And Michael Stephen all of a sudden has found a little bit of extra power. But of course, remember, him, Fourie and Taylor, all with a little bit more success ballast than the rest of the field.
Yeah, it's making it sort of handicap racing to a certain extent, and it makes it really, really exciting as well. On the way down to Cape Town corner, it is still Melville Priest and Johan Fourie.
Check that out. Round the outside of Cape Town corner.
Whoa.
Taylor just keeps it buried on the inside. The rear-wheel drive comes to touch. Fourie gets pushed wide. He's on the grass. Thank goodness he's got quattro, because otherwise he would never have handled that. He comes back onto the back stuff, and right in front of another Audi. Looks like Michael Stephen is flying.
1:20.278. Michael Stephen sets a new track record. Brilliant driving.
Absolutely amazing stuff. He's moved up to 3rd place because of that incident between Taylor and Fourie. Fourie is not going to be happy about that. He is going to fight back big time. The Nissans are just behind there. So we've got BMWs 1 and 2. Then it's Audis 3 and 4. Nissans 5 and 6. The battle of the manufacturers is heating up here with 1 lap to go.
I think Johan Fourie is going to be kicking himself, because that was just really a bad mistake. I think he got a touch though, Greg.
Yeah, he got a little tap there, but that, of course, rubbing is racing, and that's exactly what happened as they came out of Cape Town corner. There are 3 corners to go as they come through Shell Sweep up towards Malmesbury, and Fourie, the local man, looking to do well in front of his home crowd, is now down in 4th place.
The BMW is still on track, and Team Afrox is really, certainly a very powerful team. Michael Stephen driving a race of his life and putting down some serious rubber.
Yeah, he's put down a hot lap time on the previous lap. If he can get another one in, there's a possibility he might be able to outdo the BMW in front. Look at that, looks like just a BMW. Then all of a sudden they fan out, and Audis are coming to the attack into Cape Town corner.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it doesn't get closer than this, does it, Greg?
This is how good it is. World-class racing. We mentioned it twice here now. This is the 3rd time. Can you believe this action? As they come across the line, it's going to be Melville Priest to take the checkered flag, and they're going to finish up line astern. Taylor will make it. BMW's 1 and 2, and Michael Stephen with a great drive. They're in 3rd. 4th place goes to Fourie. He's not going to be happy about that. Right on his tail with the two Nissans, and good to see Leroy Poulter and Acuna on pace. The manufacturer battle was really hot, and we're looking forward to the second part of this race. Confirmation of those results, and you can see Michael Stephen was docked 2 positions for passing under yellow. He finishes up in 5th place. Melville Priest takes the victory.
All right, in 6th, Marco Acuna, Chop Sapuka, Henny Groenewald, Lee Thompson, and Richard Pinnard in the Lotus.
No work able to be done in between the heat now because race 2, Park for May, happens on the grid, as you can see, and they reshuffle the grid. The top 6 inverted.
Team Afrox BMW, Melville Priest, first win of the season. Must be great.
Yeah, it's magnificent. You know, the first time I turned a rear-wheel drive car is about 3 months ago. You know, so I think we've come a long way. We've done a lot of testing. You know, so excellent. Flag to flag. Can't ask for anything better.
Got a little bit of work to do in the second heat now because the Nissans are front row, and they're going to make it very difficult for the Audis and BMWs to get past them as they head down toward Westbank corner for the first time. Up the inside, it's Leroy Poulter around the outside while he tries hard. Acuna hanging on for dear life. He was on pole, but it's now his teammate who's going to hit the front and possibly set the pace.
Thing to look out for as well, Greg, is that Michael Stevens set the fastest lap in the first race. What about the sprint race? His car seems to be on the pace.
It certainly does, but he's got to have to make a lot of ground up after that mistake and overtaking Leroy Poulter under yellow. He had to come from the back of the field, as did Johan Fourie. And these guys now, they were 3rd and 4th on the grid. Stephen has dropped down 1 position. He's in 5th place. But you can see that Johan Fourie is just hanging on to the back of those Nissans.
I'm really impressed at the moment with the way Anthony Taylor is driving because he is carrying a heavier ballast than a lot of them out there.
Can you believe how close the action gets between the Tim Kent Subaru and that Rough Rider BMW? We had a perfect shot there from Melville Priest's rear-facing camera, and he is now working from behind. He led the race start to finish, flag to flag, and has now fallen slightly back, so I'm not quite sure if there's a problem on that car, but look at how he's battling to get ahead of those 2 Engine Extreme Audis, his teammates, and the front 3 cars.
It's a tight corner, Cape Town corner, and it is banged, so it does give them a great drive coming into the straightaway. And of course, there's no change at the moment with the leaders.
None at all as they come onto the main straightaway and complete lap number 1 of race 2. It is Nissans 1 and 2. Then it's the Audi of Johan Fourie. Look at the battle here at the back, though. Great to see the Lotus still up and running. Remember, he's had a little bit of problems with the setup of that car, and I'm sure they're getting to grips with it. The SP Racing team putting massive effort into both the Subaru and that Lotus. And look at this. We're on board with Anthony Taylor, looking at the Indy Oils car, his arch rival, Johan Fourie, and he just can't make up that little bit of ground. Fourie goes onto the inside, looks for a way past the Nissan, but has the door firmly shut in his face there by Acuna.
A lot of battle scars, as you said earlier on. Michael Stephen in the Audi Extreme doing really well, getting the better of Anthony Taylor there. And of course, he's being plagued with an electronic fuel system problem, and of course, that seems to be rectified at the moment.
Oh, there you go. That's the way to do it, Michael Stephen. Up the inside of Shell Sweep this time. Perfectly done in the Engine Extreme Audi. And no yellow flag, so no penalties. And Anthony Taylor is demoted to 5th.
All the way through Marsbury, all the way down, and the Cape Town back straight is where they're the fastest. Of course, on board right now with Marco Acuna, and he's a very talented driver, as we said.
I love when we get an onboard shot and you can actually see the driver at work. He comes right onto the tailpiece of his teammate. He might be able to do him on the brakes, not quite. Poulter saw him coming. He just moved over slightly and didn't open the door. And unfortunately, he's got to try and find another way around that first Sam Racing Nissan.
Nissans versus the Audis, then the BMWs, and Chop Sapuka is holding his own and driving really well at the moment.
Certainly is. Chop Sapuka, a very talented driver, but right now the talent is at the front end of this field, and the 2 Nissans are doing everything they can to keep the hometown hero at bay.
Oh, look at that. He's on the pace. Fourie is just looking for a way. He's all over him.
He certainly is, but he can't find a way past. Those 2 Nissans are working together and are just blocking every angle. There, Fourie tries up the inside. Late braking from Fourie. Gives him a little tap. Oh, in fact, it goes right the way through. And Leroy Poulter ends up coming off worse for wear. Can he keep it buried and try to go around the outside? No, he can't. Acuna is promoted. Unfortunately, he didn't even see that coming because Fourie tapped Acuna tapped Poulter, and all of a sudden, there's a big change at the front.
Michael Stevens is trying to follow the same line as Johan Fourie. He might just get the gap.
Fourie going to try and keep that inside line into Malmesbury. We're on board with Taylor. Taylor is now trying to sneak through as well. So the BMW has realised that Poulter, being demoted 3 positions, has now cost him dearly. Onto the back straightaway, and Taylor is just burying that BMW.
This is the guys are saying, are there more than 2 lines on this racetrack? Absolutely.
There certainly are. You can get 3 cars through Cape Town corner. We saw that earlier. Can they keep it all together now? Poulter seems to have a little bit of problem on the back left there. There's definitely some tyre rubbing against the bodywork. That's a bit of battle scar, but it's not hindering him whatsoever. He's still maintaining that 4th position, but cannot get past Stephen or Fourie.
Big difference from Killarney to Cape Town as Lee Thompson in their BMW is not on the pace at the moment. but they need more work.
They certainly do, but no problems at the front end. Looks like we might see a maiden victory here for the Sam Racing Nissan team as they get onto the back straightaway. Can Leroy Poulter get ahead of those two Audis? Not with Johan Fourie, and not when he's in this kind of pace and form. Onto the braking markers, tries something up the inside, but Cunha saw him coming miles away.
Michael Stephen is picking that line down that back straight with great success, and he's really getting a good hole shot into that corner.
I just love the fact that the front end of this Nissan's got a big hole in it, and that's from his own teammate when he tapped him inadvertently in engine corner. Look at the pace of these cars across the line.
No yellow flags at the moment into West Bank corner. It is still Johan Fourie chasing down our leader at the moment.
He can't find a way past because he's got to keep the engine extreme Audi of Michael Stephen behind him. The two cars very evenly matched in terms of pace and handling. It's now all about the driver skill. Can Fourie keep the rest of the field at bay and possibly outdo Cunha? He's only got 3.5 corners to go. I don't think he's got enough time.
I agree with you, Greg. I don't think he has enough time. But you know what? It's a never-die attitude with these guys, and they're always on the pace.
Yeah, the fat lady hasn't even called to the podium just yet, so I think it's still a matter of a lot of racing to happen as they head up towards Malmesbury. Stephen going to try something on the inside. No, he's not. He just tucks in behind. He's going to get the drive. He's going to try the slipstream effect on the Audi in front of him, and maybe it'll pay off when they get to Cape Town.
I can't believe after him putting it into the dirt like this, Fourie that is, that car is still running the way it is.
Looks like there might be a problem on Fourie's car. He's slowing down. There is. There's a problem on Fourie's car. Oh, can you believe that? The hometown hero has now gone to 0, and he's dropping right through the field. But that's just opened up an opportunity. Can Poulter maybe sneak and make it 1-2 for Sam Racing? It's going to be tight. They're going to be coming across the line. It's the Cunha from Michael Stephen. Wow, the BMs are coming as well. There's nothing in it. This is going to be the way to end of the second race, and that is the way to do it. Nissan's taking a victory for the first time in 2010, and man, have we got a battle on our hands for this final race. Big pity there for the Indy Oils machine. They're going to have a bit of work to do between races. There's confirmation, though. Cunha takes it from Stephen, Leroy Poulter, Melville Priest, and Anthony Taylor.
I'm picking up the rest of the field at the moment as we have a look at that. And it is Chop Sapuka, Lee Thompson, Henny Grunewald, and Johan Fourie is done and dusted, maybe.
A bit of cosmetic surgery there on the front end of the 350Z, but good to see them on the top of the podium.
Marco Cunha, it's a first win for you, Class A. It is, and it feels great, I must say. I think, although the race is only six laps long, I think that was the longest race I've ever driven. But I'm glad to be on top, thanks to the Tubular Tech Sam Racing team. They did a fantastic job, and I'm happy to be here.
It was like tag team wrestling between the two of you. Michael, what happened? You couldn't catch him?
Yeah, no, it was just a great race. I got behind Johan, and Johan was hassling Marco, and I couldn't find a way past Johan, and he was trying to find a way past Marco. Eventually I got past Johan. I think he had a bit of a problem. And, you know, 1 lap to go. It wasn't enough for me to catch Marco. So well done to Marco, his first win, you know, great drive.
With only 2 hours to get the car prepared and ready after all the problems that he had in race number 2, the Sassel Top Tech Award has to go to Johan Fourie's race team. Johan Fourie on pole as they go down towards turn 1. Can he manage to keep that car in front? And has all the effort been in vain? Or is it going to pay off for Johan Fourie? And can he take a victory here at his hometown circuit?
Well, I'm sure he'll be looking for it, Greg. Of course, he was very, very quick all of Friday. He was disappointed not to get pole. Melville Priest picked him. But this boy's on the post by virtue of the fact that his second qualifying time is the one that gets him on pole now.
The problem that he has is that Melville Priest and Anthony Taylor are right on his tail as they go into engine corner. Poulter up the inside, sneaking through and getting into third place. Taylor's in second, and now we go on board with Poulter. Looking up ahead, make something with this car and possibly steal the victory here away from the hometown hero.
Not only is it the excitement of the racing here, but it's the way that the Bridgestone production cars is structured, because those 2 sprint races, and now we've got all the marbles counting for double the points.
Yeah, certainly. This is the feature race. This is where it all comes to ground, and hopefully those points can be put in the bag and taken away from Cape Town heading into round 3. Leroy Poulter in his office. This is where he loves to be, and you can see just how much fun he's having. Down the back straightaway. This is close to 210 kilometers an hour before they climb onto the anchors into Cape Town corner, all the way down the box, possibly into second gear, and now out of Cape Town corner, and just keep that foot buried to the floorboard.
It's an amazing place to race, right at the end of that back straight into Cape Town corner. You've got to be perfectly positioned to get good drive out of that corner, and the boys know how to do it.
They certainly do. The man who knows how to do it, probably the best out of them all, is the man leading the Indy Oils Audi of Johan Fourie. I tell you something, that engine change is paying off, and he is now opening up a very comfortable margin over second place. So it looks like everything that was done by his team is going to work into his hands by the time they get to the checkered flag.
On board, Marco de Cunha, great shot there. The BMW still in the mix. The tubular tech of Leroy Poulter is trying to go around the outside. Can he nip in on Anthony Taylor? Looks like he's got the drive and he's got the position on the track.
He certainly does. Taylor having to work double time to keep that car in contention. But round his outside comes Michael Stephen. So the man who set a lap record in the first race is all of a sudden back on pace and being held up by the 2 rear-wheel drive, the Nissan and the BMW.
Well, I think he got a double in the fastest lap category. I think Michael Stephen picked up in the first sprint race and the second sprint race.
So it looks like Stephen is the man who could possibly spoil the day for the Audi that leads out, but he's got a lot of work to catch him. Back on board with de Cunha, heading down the back straight away.
It's so Brazilian, that helmet.
It is. He loves it all. The fact that he can get into the inside. Oh, that's a good move. Nice try there from Michael Stephen, but Anthony saw him coming. And Taylor's not going to make it easy for that Engine Extreme team to get past him. The 2 Audis are behind him. Then it's got de Cunha. Then we've got Lee Thompson. So a new track record. That is awesome stuff. New lap record from Johan Fourie. And he's blown away the first one. That is an awesome lap time.
He is miles ahead of the competition. The boys in the back are going, what the heck is in that motor car right now? I can tell you, it's a brand new engine.
And it's working absolutely perfect. Hopefully it'll hang together. Because remember, they wouldn't have had any time to test the engine at all. That would have just been slapped in, put together, get the gearbox in, and off you go racing.
You have to admire their dedication and their precision and their professionalism. It's all about never say die.
That's exactly what Johan Fourie saying now. He's saying, come and catch me if you can. Right now, it doesn't look like anybody's got an answer. They come through shell sweep. It is, well, Job Sapuka hanging on, but not quite on the pace of his teammate. And that's a bit of a disappointment, because Sapuka could possibly be in the fray here.
He could do, but Terry Moss has got to be happy with the job that he's doing at the moment. They'll be looking for more horsepower, but you know what? This is racing, and you've got some big boys in the front.
You certainly do. None bigger than Johan Fourie. And that's in size-wise as well as his talent. As they come onto the braking markers to Cape Town corner one more time. Taylor keeps that inside line. He owns that inside line. He's not letting anybody through.
This is close racing, and of course he's carrying one of the equal heaviest ballasts at the moment. They call it a success ballast, and it doesn't look like it's going to be putting too much damage on the car at the moment, but it will, after all, take strain.
It will take a bit of strain, especially onto the braking markers, especially where the car is under the heaviest load. And right now, as they come across the line, that's not where it is. It's here on the brakes. Into turn 1, he has to climb onto the anchors very late. He runs a little bit wide, opens up a slight gap, and Stephen sees that and says, right, here I come. Engine Extreme versus Afrox, and it is so close. You can't say that any of the manufacturers have got a slight advantage over anybody else, because there's a BM, there's a Nissan, there's Audis, and all 3 of the top manufacturers in Class A are at each other's throats here.
Throats? I think they're after more than that, to be honest with you, Greg.
They certainly are. I can't wait to see when the Nissans and the BMWs and Audis that have dominated for the last couple of seasons come to grips with the Subaru and Lotus that are being developed every single day we go racing.
Well, historically at Cape Town, Greg, the Audis run really, really well here. And I'll tell you what, there's no doubt Johan Fourie is making that statement true.
Now, 100%. He is dominating his home circuit and showing exactly why the crowd favourite is at the front. There you can see, that's the gap he's got over second place. Melville Priest hasn't got an answer at the moment. Neither has Leroy Poulter. As they come into the closing stages, maybe we'll see a a couple of changes going into Cape Town corner if Poulter can get the drive out of Malmesbury.
It's been a dominating drive here by Johan Free, the Cape Town boy. But you know what? I mean, I've got to ask this question. What must the blokes behind him be thinking? What has he got in this car to be so dominant?
He's got a new engine. That's what he's got. It's definitely working out perfectly, and well done to the team for getting that car sorted out. The other teams on track have got a bit of work to do between this round and the next as they get onto the back straightaway. Poulter is going to have to be settled for third place. Priest will be very happy. He's going to probably take what would be the overall victory on the day because he's had a very, very good Cape Town.
Here comes my favourite part of the track as well. Just notice before they dive into Cape Town corner, there's a little bump there. I mean, it doesn't really affect them too much, but in other classes it can.
Yeah, it certainly does. The motorcycles, they use it particularly for their braking marker. They wait for the bump. As soon as they go over the bump, that's when they climb on the anchors. The BMW and the Nissan are going to be happy with second and third, but it is going to be the hometown man who takes the checkered flag here in Cape Town. So the feature race showing once again that Bridgestone Production Cars has definitely got a formula that provides great racing. And across the line, it was Johan Free who took the victory, and he makes sure that that Indy Oils Audi is definitely back in contention. Priest in second, Poulter in third, Anthony Taylor and Michael Stephen your top five.
All right, let's have a look at the rest of the finishers. Marco Acuna, Jubilee Tech, Chops and Puka, Lee Thompson, Henny Grunewald, and Richard Pinnard was there in 10th.
So as in the other formulas we've seen so far in Westbank Super Series, a local man has dominated here in Cape Town, and he's very happy.
South African reigning champion Johan Free, Indy Oils Audi, absolutely sweet victory. But on the one hand, you've got to pay tribute to your boys at the back room.
Yeah, no, again, seems like it's the same as last year in the beginning of April last year. Same, we blew an engine. This time the engine overheated after some issues in the first heat. So yeah, the guys did again an amazing job changing the engine within 2 hours. So it's unbelievable again, and thanks to them for coming out. So all I had to do was just focus and just push really hard, and we came out and we did it.
Team Afrox, Melville Priest, great drive today, and overall first position. You must be stoked.
Yeah, it's been a great weekend for us. You know, yesterday we were struggling. The car came out the box today in qualifying, just magnificent. I really had a great balanced car. Into the first race, the balance stayed there, managed to win that. Started 6th with the reverse grid, got up to 4th, past 2 Oaks. Excellent balance. And now just, you know, Johan was way too quick. The Audi will have more grip than us, so it's just a matter of doing the best you can against the four-wheel drive cars, and second was really good for us.
Amazing how it changes when you get into a rear-wheel drive, but Melville Priest and Anthony Taylor are still at the top of the point standings. Afrox BMWs 1 and 2. Michael Stephen in 3rd place, Poulter in 4th, Free in 5th, and Acuna in 6th place.
For all your racing information on the Westbank Super Series, visit our website www.westbankmotorsport.co.za.
Join us after the break for Class T action in Cape Town. Qualifying for Class T or Bridgestone production cars, it would be Volkswagens versus Ford versus Mazda. Who would end up at the top end? We'd have to wait and see. But Bonafide looked like he was going to be back at the front, along with his arch rivals in the Ford, Sean Duminy and Gary Formato. By the time the qualifying session had finished, though, the Indy Oils GTI of Graham Nathan had hit the front once again and shown that he was the man to beat this season. Alongside him would be Gary Formato in the Ford Focus ST.
All right, it's going to be tight, but there is going to be Sean Duminy and Gennaro Bonafide.
Third row was made up of Kurt Alchin and Michael van Rooyen.
On the next starting grid, it's George Smallberger in the Mazda and Kieran Kwambi.
Back of Class T, Niaz Modak, a brand new man to Bridgestone production cars.
Graham Nathan on pole. It seems the success ballast hasn't really affected your chances.
It definitely does. It makes you work harder. It's very hard on the tyres towards the end of the race. For qualifying, the tyres don't really feel the excessive ballast, but it's only for like one lap. Thereafter, we start to battle. My car's great at the moment. My team's done a wonderful job of setting up the car for qualifying. But we've done a lot of time and a lot of testing to make sure that the one qualifying lap works. we've now got to make sure it lasts for the whole race and be there at the end.
Duminy in third position. Is it going to take a team effort to take on Gary Formato?
Definitely, hey, but we want Gary up there in front. He's our #1 driver. He's the guy that's got a chance of winning the championship this year. We've got tough competition with Graham and the other two golfs with Kwambi and Bonafide, so we're closer, we're there, and it's going to be a tough race.
It certainly is. I can't wait as they head down towards the first corner. Graham Nathan seems to have a little bit of a problem off the line there. The Ford got the drop on him. Nathan was caught snapping, and Gennaro Bonafide putting pressure onto his stablemate as they go into West Bank corner. It's Ford's 1 and possibly 3. Duminy forcing him wide. This is the Ferodo GTI, and probably a greatest seat in the house right now. Oh, Duminy all over the place.
Graham Nathan is probably ruining the fact that he was late for drivers but briefing, and of course being docked to place on the grid, and Gary Formato is now in control.
Little tapping early on, and Duminy gets it sideways. Gennaro Bonafide says welcome to Engine corner, and well, he hung on, I don't know how. Just in the background though, a little bit of action. Oh, look at that! Massive touch there, and there goes a bit of airtime. Oh, Kieran Kwambi just launching that GTI. The tyres in transit, into foul, car going flying through the air. Unfortunately, had good brakes before he came back onto the black stuff.
Exciting stuff indeed. On the way through to the Malmesbury corner, and then down the back straight, all the way to Cape Town corner. Graham Nathan is the one. Let's have a look at that again.
Little touch between Modak and Kwambi. Kwambi got forced off the road. He tried to avoid the old Supermoto circuit where we saw Airtime Orby get his name, and that name has now been handed across to Kieran Kwambi. Whoa, that was massive. Fortunately, good brakes stopped him from going in front of anybody else.
Gotta tell you, thank goodness we didn't have a microphone in that car.
That could have been real exciting stuff. Anyway, up front, it's True Blue Racing that leads out, and Gary Formato, well, he's going to have his hands full very shortly because Graham Nathan is not going to let him get away. Sean Duminy is on his tail. He's in third place. And then we go on board with the fourth place man. That's Gennaro Bonafide gearing down into West Bank.
Formato's really on the pace. They said they were going to be looking for more horsepower. I think they've just found it. Of course, Graham Nathan is still going to be looking for the win.
Nate is going to try everything he can as they head up towards Engine corner. He sneaks out. In fact, oh, what happened there? Graham Nathan completely running out of talent, misjudging that inside line. Oh, that was a big mistake from Nathan. That's going to cost him dearly. He's not going to be able to get that car sorted out until the feature race now. So, the Volkswagen battle as he climbs out the car. Oh, he's not happy.
No, Graham. Graham, don't hit the car. Don't hit the car.
Oh, he's not a happy camper. Unfortunately, that was all his mistake. Look at that. He just misjudges the inside of Gary's car.
2 inches.
Clips him on the inside, breaks that front left wheel, and that's the end of the Indy World's car for this particular outing.
Greg, how on earth did he not take out Formato?
He was very lucky not to. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but you can see that he just misjudged the inside line, tried to sneak up the inside, and as he would have said in his own words, completely ran out of talent. But Nate will be back. We'll wait for him in the feature race. Now the battle is handed to his stablemate, and he's being sandwiched between those two ST Focuses.
Let's have a look at Heinz. Oh, new track record, 122 from Gennaro Bonafide. How can you keep? Cream will always rise to the top.
It certainly will, and Gennaro Bonafide has now taken the battle to the Fords, and by setting that hot lap, he may be in with a chance of possibly spoiling the day for the True Blue Racing boys. We're on board with them as we come out of West Bank corner, heading up towards Engine. This is where his stablemate got it completely wrong. Hopefully he can do a better job of it as they come onto the braking markers into Engine. It's still Fords 1 and 3, and the Ferodo GTI tucked in second.
Nathan Motorsport has set up this Bonafide car, so Nathan might be out of this race, but he's still got the charge of the youngster, Bonafide.
Yeah, he's the only youngster in there as well, because his other car, the Nathan's Motorsport third car, is parked on the sideline. There it is. So Kieran Kwambi unfortunately out, Nathan out, so the GTI battle is now handed onto this man's shoulders, and this is only his fourth race of the season. So the rookie in amongst the usual contenders here, always got a lot of work to do to keep them at bay.
Although Formato's got a rear gunner in his teammate, will it be enough to actually take the focus away from Gennaro Bonafide so he can't concentrate?
Well, that's exactly what Sean Duminy doing right now. He's all over the back moon mirrors, and Gennaro can just see him looping from left to right as they come down towards Cape Town. He's concentrating on the man in front. That's what he needs to do. Don't worry too much about the man in the back of you. The idea is to get into the front and pull away. But right now, Formato has got this car absolutely dialed into the circuit, and it is working perfectly. Gennaro Bonafide is going to have to use his experience from polos and saloon car racing and his karting to try and find a way past Gary Formato.
Having a look down the field, Kurt Alchin still circulating. Madek's in there as well. It's a nice mix of racing at the moment. But our attention back, and we're on board with Bonafide.
As they come out of Westbank corner. Now, this is where he needs to try and set it up. He comes right up close. He's almost like a VTEC trail on the back end of that ST. Onto the braking markers. Looks wide, but Famato is a wily character. You're not going to find an easy way past Gary Famato. And Gennaro Bonafide, wow, he's trying everything.
He is, you know, and the only way that he can get through is maybe a little tap. We don't really advocate that sort of stuff, but it is tight racing.
Yeah, rubbing his race when it comes to that format. This is Van Rooyen, there's the third of the fourth. Modak coming in real close there with Heinz Berzer. Looking for a way past the MPS, but can't find it just yet. Back to the front end of this field. Famato still leads out. The 36 is on his tail, and Bonafide hasn't found a way just yet, but he certainly looks like he wants past in a big way.
Famato, the leader, and it's Bonafide. Dumini's trying to sort of mug him in the process, but I'll tell you what, Famato's on the pace at the moment. There's no doubt about it.
Look at how these force-inducted cars are working double time down at the Mother City. You don't get closer racing than this. The Fords and GTIs down the back straight for the final time. This is where Bonafide can make it happen. He's got to try and get into the slip. He's not close enough to Famato. He's just going to have to go defensive and keep Dumini behind him. And Dumini's going to try something up the inside. Can he make it stick? He looks up the inside. It's late braking from Sean Dumini. He can't make it this time. Gennaro Bonafide, a little tap between the two of them. Oh, look at how he had to catch that steering wheel.
Oh, and he holds it. He holds it. He's going, oh, what are you doing to me? Stay off me.
Great driving from both drivers there. A little bit of tapping and rubbing is part of this racing. But across the line, it's going to be Ford victory. And the GTI will maintain his lead in the championship with that second place.
Famato, Bonafide, Sean Dumini gave it everything he had then. I'll tell you what, a brilliant race.
Let's find out from the big man what happened.
Yeah, I just went into turn 2, a little bit hotter than probably I should have. Gary went defensive, and in going past him up the inside, I clipped his left rear wheel, right rear wheel, which launched my car. When it landed, it broke the ball joint, and then left wheel was pointing south somewhere, and I was going the other way, so that was the end of that. I managed to stop it before the wall, and I just hope to be able to recover it really, really quickly so that we can get it back.
3 Fords in the top 5 there. Famato, Dumini and Van Rooyen. Gennaro Bonafide, the only man who could take it to him, and Berzer there in 5th.
Let's have a look at the all-important 6th position, because it's Modek, and that means he starts on pole in the reverse grid. Gary Famato, first win of the season. It's got to be great.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, we found some pace yesterday in the car. We're not 100% where we need to be, there's no doubt. Graham unfortunately took himself out and nearly me as well. So I don't know what happened, if it was something to his car. If it wasn't something to do with his car, then he pulled a crazy move. But yeah, the rest of the guys drove well, and we had a good race, and it was fantastic. Nice to race with everybody. Great to race with Bonafide, and Sean is going very well right now. I think it's been an exciting season from here.
It certainly is. Race 2 is going to be just as exciting because Modak is on pole. He's a local man and he knows the circuit like the back of his hand. Can he capitalize on this pole position and get away? It certainly looks like it as they go into turn 1. Oh, already action! Bonafide spins out, and while he taps the back end of Dumini, Dumini's the man who spun out, but it was Bonafide who had nowhere to go. He tried to go up the inside line there. There you can see Dumini getting completely sideways, nearly gets T-boned by his teammate Van Rooyen, and Famato all of a sudden had to go and take evasive action as well.
Under pressure, Modak leading at the moment. How far is that going to go into this race? I don't know. If he's on the pace and he's not worried about what's going on behind him, they're on their way down to Malmesbury.
Check out how that reverse grid works into the favor of the bottom 3 in the top 6 from race 1. It's Modak from Berzer. That was 5 and 6 in race 1. They now 1 and 2. And all of a sudden, the first Ford is now Michael Van Rooyen.
It's got to be interesting to see at the moment because Boza is driving his teammate, the stable car of George Smallberger.
Yeah, up the inside and making that teammate's car work double time. The MPS
he's got him.
Gets the lead, and Modak had no answer there. Although he should have had a lot more because he does know the circuit pretty well. Coming onto the main straightaway to complete lap number 1. He's under pressure now from Van Rooyen. Then we go back to the battle between Famato and Bonafide, and this time it's roles reversed.
Absolutely. Normally it's a war of attrition between Big Nate and Famato. Now he's got the youngster on his tail.
Yeah, the Nathan's Motorsport for Roto GTI is working double time to try and keep that second Ford, I should say, because I keep forgetting we've got Van Rooyen all of a sudden in the charge.
Well, we nearly did it. Oh, hang on. A little wide on that as they're coming down. And who's on the outside here?
That is Van Rooyen. He's going to climb onto the anchors and try and sneak onto the back end of the MPS Mazda. In fact, he's going to try and drive around the outside. My mistake. That's a great bit of driving. Not easy to do that, especially because the outside line of that corner is pretty dirty, so you've got to have what it takes. and he definitely had it there. Fortunately, it didn't pay off, but it might pay off a little bit later on because the pressure is now on that NPS Mazda. And I'll tell you something, Berza's got his hands full. Halfway through this race, and Berza's now starting to put the pressure back onto Modak. Modak is now going to have to soak it up because it's going to be tight between these boys. It's GTI's 1 and 3, but Modak is the quicker of the two of them at the moment. But I think the problem that he's got is that Berza's having a bit of a block party. He's not letting anybody through.
Greg, also, I take note of watching all of these cars. If you don't have body damage, you weren't in the race.
Certainly, that's for sure. Right, so Bonafide going to try something around the outside of Heinz Berza. It's Mazda versus GTI. Oh, you don't get better than that. Look at that. Enough room given by both drivers. Perfectly done. And now they're going to the kink side by side as well.
This is unbelievable racing. He's on the inside. He's got the right line. They're going to be heading down through Shell Sweep and then on the way down to Malmesbury.
Well, up to Malmesbury now, and they're still side by side. Vermonter's trying to get on the action as well. You can't make it 3 cars into Malmesbury. I promise you, Gary, that's going to hurt. But you can make it 2, and there you go. Perfectly done. Bonafide around the outside, hanging on to every bit of Bridgestone rubber he's got on that car.
He would probably drive over the top of them if he had a choice.
Side by side down the back straight now, coming onto the braking markers. Are we going to see it 4 corners in a row where these cars don't give an inch? We are. Look at this. This is amazing stuff. This is what it's all about. Bridgestone production cars in the house in Cape Town. Oh, can you believe it? Bonafide makes a mistake. A little bit of understeer, and he just got forced to the outside of the circuit. The dirty track on the outside has cost him dearly. He's dropped to 4th.
What is becoming quite apparent to me, Greg, as well, is that while all this carnage is going on behind him, Modak is just getting out, clean air, no problems, and flying.
Oh, late braking from Dermany. That's cost him too. So the pressure was on Dermany. Van Rooyen's going to sneak up the inside. He's going to be on the tailpiece of this man. So Gennaro Bonafide moves back up to 3rd place. And, oh, in fact, 4th place, I should say, because I keep forgetting about the yellow GTI. That's Modak. He leaves out in front. And now we go back to side by side through turn 2. Oh, you don't get better than this.
Gary's going, I'm still here and I'm still chasing.
He certainly is. He's actually snuck ahead of Gennaro. Gennaro had to tap out slightly there. Now they head down towards Shell Sweep onto the braking markers. Then they come through there. That's 3rd gear and probably about 150 k's an hour up towards Malmesbury. It'll be 1 short change and then back to 3rd through Malmesbury. These guys are hanging on for dear life and giving these cars everything they've got.
Look at the bodywork on that Mazda at the back. It's flapping like in the wind. Famato is probably going to remove that very shortly if he gets any closer.
He certainly will. He didn't want to be too close to that car because we saw what happened between Nathan and Famato in the first one. So it's going to be good timing here from Gary Famato to get him past the Mazda. But if Heinz Berza is there we go.
Down the inside. He's got him. He's got him. He has to have him.
Has he? I don't know.
He's got him. He must have him.
They side by side into the kink now, onto the main straight. No, he hasn't.
Where's the power? Where's that power come from?
That's amazing stuff. Force-inducted cars here, absolutely flat out across the straightaway. And across the line to complete another lap. It is getting down to the final stage of this race. They're not going to catch Modak. It's going to be a battle for 2nd. And all of a sudden, Bonafide's in it. He's going to sneak up the inside. Gives Berza a little bit of a tail. He's going to force him wide. Oh, side-by-side action is now turning into a bit of bar banging and bumper banging action. Berza gets completely out of shape there. And that's going to be all that Gennaro Bonafide needs. Or is it?
No. He's got the inside line. But he's going around the outside.
Drives around the outside.
My word. This is huge.
Awesome stuff there from Gennaro Bonafide, showing exactly what it takes. We're into the final lap. It's 3 Fords. They are sitting in 4th, 5th, and 6th place, and it's actually Sean Dermany who snuck up into that 4th place. So he's the leading Ford.
What a huge recovery from Sean Dermany, because he almost got T-boned. That's a great drive from him.
Certainly is. As they come to the closing stages now, 4 corners to go. They come into engine corner for the final time in race 2. Dermany's up to 3rd. Berza's being demoted down to possibly 5th because Formato's driving around his outside. Can he outdo Berza into the kink? He might have what it takes. It's going to be close. They come through there, but Berza hangs on, and Formato just forces his way through.
This is going to be flag to flag if it stays like this for Modak. It'll be an awesome result. The Cape Town boy.
The Cape Town hero once again going to show that local knowledge definitely helps out here down at the coastal circuits. Onto the braking markers. Can Van Rooyen spoil the day and possibly bump that Mazda down 1 more position? He's going to try hard into Cape Town corner. It'll be his last-ditch effort. But Berza has everything to do here. He wants to save face for the Mazda team as they head down to Cape Town for the final time.
What I did notice as well, is it Formato that was smoking? Is there damage to the engine? And if there is, with the 3rd race counting double points, will he be on the grid?
We'll have to wait and see. He's going to make it across the line. There's no doubt he's not going to give that position up to Mazda. The man from Cape Town in the Woodmead Auto GTI takes his first victory in Bridgestone production cars. Gennaro Bonafide will come through in second place. Sean Germany, Gary Formato. A great drive between the Fords, the Volkswagens and the Mazdas. And there's the confirmation for you. Modak from Bonafide, Germany, Formato and Heinz Berzer, your top 5.
In 6th position, it is Michael van Rooyen in the other Ford, Kurt Alchin and Essa following up the rest.
So the local man will be at the top of the podium. He'll be very happy. Let's find out how his day went.
But Dick, you must be absolutely ecstatic for this win.
I'm so happy. It's the second race, production racing, and what an experience. And to win in my hometown, I am over the moon. And I just want to thank all my fans that cheered for me. I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to the third race of them.
The feature race, and the big man is back. On pole position, the India Oils GTI and Nathan's Motorsport have worked double time in the 2 hours between. So both India Oils cars having to have major repairs done, and they are back and racing. It is Nathan into turn 1. He leads out. Up his inside looks like it's going to be Gennaro Bonafide, possibly outdoing Gary Formato, but they're side by side out of Westbank.
Ah, look who's sneaking by Formato again. Although Bonafide didn't even have a look in there. All the way through to engine corner. It is still the big man. It must be something with these mechanics. They're really on the ball, these guys.
They certainly do, and I think possibly also up for that Sassel Top Tech Award at the end of the day. It'll be a tight battle between his team and the Ferrari team.
All right, racing action again, and we're back to the leaders. And this is going to be an amazing race. Well, double the points. It's going to count big.
It certainly is. Van Rooyen outdoing his teammate at the moment. Germany's at the back with Essa closing onto his tail. So Germany with a lot of work to do to get through this field. Kurt Alchin just ahead of Berzer. Then there's the second race winner, Modak, in the thick of it. And he's got the 2 Fords all over the back of him.
He's not going to worry about what he's done. I've won my race. I'm just here for the fun.
And the crowd are just loving the action that Bridgestone production cars are bringing to Cape Town. Onto the braking markers.
Oh,
Modak up the inside. Well, that's a good move. And that's just promoted him up. And onto the tailpiece of the other Cape Town man, the body man, and that is Kurt Alchin.
Oh, Greg, look, it's another dismal weekend for Heinz Berzer. The Mazda pulls to the side.
Oh, so the 2 Mazdas unfortunately not making it to the end of the race day, but he had a good second heat, and that's just going to bode well for the next round. Hopefully they can do some preparation and a bit of development on those cars in between the next 2 rounds, and they'll be back in contention for the race victories. The race victory, though, is not done just yet, although Graham Nathan, in this kind of mood, is not going to be easy to be caught.
And we understand exactly why he's in that mood, Greg.
Yeah, we do, because the last time he came in here, he ended up in the kitty litter. But right now, he's keeping it on the black stuff and making those Bridgestone tyres work double time to keep him at the front end.
Well, the thing to consider here about Big Nate is those tyres are going to be a lot fresher because he was parked for a while.
He certainly was. He was parked for nearly 2 races. So, Nathan on the fresher rubber. These boys have had 2 6-lap dice of note. We saw that earlier on. We're into almost the halfway stage, and all of a sudden Modak and Alchin are at each other once again. A bit of repair work done to the front end of Modak's car, but it looks like the body man is keeping him at bay right now. His nickname used to be Dr. Block. He's living up to that right now because he's keeping everybody else behind him. It's just the first 3 cars, and Alchin wants to possibly get on the podium.
You know, Greg, I'm all about conspiracy theories, and I tell you what, there's many, many different ways and strategies to get points on the board for the overall championship.
It certainly is. One of them is to get to the front end of the field and win the race, but if you can't do that, try and get onto the podium, get as high up as you can. Right now, the GTRs and Fords are going at it hammer and tongs, as we always see. Unfortunately, the Mazda is no longer in there, but it is a battle royal. We've got 3 cars at the front, then we've got a 4, 5 and 6 place battle coming into Malmesbury.
Well, the gap that they picked up is actually quite astounding at the moment. I don't know why that's happened, but I'll tell you what, they're still on the pace, and it is a bun fight out there.
They don't want Nate to get away, these first 2. That's why Formato and Bonafide are probably working together with each other at the moment to try and use the slipstream effect to bring those cars closer to Graham Nathan when he's in this kind of mood. He's not easy.
And you said that with a straight face.
Yeah. He is definitely in the race face mode. And Graham Nathan is a difficult man to beat on any day. So, Gennaro Bonafide comes across the line in third place. In fact, he comes side by side with the Ford, and it's going to be tightened up between the two of them on the walking markers into West Bank corner. He's on the wrong side of the circuit. Fumado knows that. It just forces him a little bit wide. Maybe runs a little wide himself coming out of West Bank, heading up towards Engine.
I'm glad you picked that up, Greg, because that second corner is vital, because you get the drive and the line to the third turn, which is going into Engine. It's vitally important there. If you're on the outside, you come a little unstuck.
Onto the brakes once again, and Fumado is doing everything he can to keep Bonafide at bay. He does not want to let this youngster through. Remember, Bonafide at the moment is currently leading this championship in Class T. So a third place on the podium, he'll maintain his lead. If he gets up to second, he's going to stretch it out a little bit more, and that's not what Fumado needs.
What I think is great is our TV viewers are going to be seeing a lot more of this youngster, Gennaro Bonafide, the young university student in Pretoria.
Yeah, he certainly is a great talent for the future, especially in Class T, and hopefully at some stage we'll get him into the Class A cars. But right now, it's his rookie season. This is his 6th race in a Bridgestone production car, and he's sitting in third place and leading the championship.
Oh, he's trying to look down the outside. Has he got enough of it to make it stick? This is close. Fumado on the inside. Bonafide, he's going to try and get that bank and that drive. Let's see how it all pans out coming out there.
Well, the last time he came out of there, he got a little squirrely. He's got it all kept together, and he moves up to second place. Amazing drive. Can you handle it? Round the outside of Gary Fumado, that's not an easy thing to do.
Here comes the final lap. This is all for nuts and bolts at the moment. And I'll tell you what, in the middle of the pack, Modak is still doing his best, and he's having a right royal dance with Kurt Elchin.
He certainly is. The two Cape Town boys are putting on a show of note for the local crowd. Duminy seems to be slowing down in the background. Sean Dumini's got a problem. That is a major hassle for the Ford team. Hopefully he can just circulate that car and finish up on the day. But Kurt Elchin is not letting Modak through, and Nayaz Modak in the Woodmead Auto GTI is putting the pressure on. But across the line, it is Nate who's going to take the victory. Second place is going to go to his stablemate. The Ferroto GTI takes second, and while a battle-scarred Ford comes across there, I think he had a front left puncture there, and that's damaged all the bodywork. There you can see a little bit of extra crispy Nando's takeaway off that Ford, and they're just moving that off the circuit. But result confirmation there, Nathan from Bonafide. It's GTIs 1 and 2, Ford 3 and 4, and Kurt Elchin, they're in 5th.
Then next, it's Modak, then Duminy, and then Essa.
So a bit of work to do for Cowan Signs after the body damage on that car. I'm sure that they'll get that sorted out before we get to the next round.
Round 2 in Cape Town, the feature race, amazing here. And of course, the Cape Town audience do love their motor racing here. Once again, on the podium, Graham Nathan. This win, you've got to hand to the backroom boys.
Absolutely. Without the guys in the back doing all the work, absolutely all of it. Even when I mess up, they come and save the day, give me a motor car that's absolutely perfect, get in the car, do the work, and it just pumps out the times. It was a great effort by my team. Thank you to everybody involved, my sponsors, all of you. Without you, I can't do it. Just all thanks to them.
You must have felt sick after race 2, knowing the damage that was done. Did you ever think that you would be getting back on the grid again?
Sick is an easy word for what I felt. I was really, really upset with myself. Me more than anything else. I made the error. I made the judgment error. But knowing my team like I know them, they don't stop until the day is done. We tried hard, they tried hard, and we got it back on the pace. Great job to everybody.
It's becoming habit to see you on the podium again, Gennaro.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's come as a shock to me still. I mean, it just shows you do the preparation. The guys at the team, Nathan's, Ferroto. I mean, with Derek and I, Derek Irving and myself, have worked hard over this testing season now. And I mean, we go off to Pakiza. To be honest with you, with 3 seconds overall, and overall for the day, I'm surprised. You know, it just shows consistency pays off. I think we had the race pace as well. Graham was a lot faster in the last race, which, you know, it's credit to him. I mean, he drove flipping well. Pity about the first 2, but you know, it's all smiles from our camp.
Certainly is, and the rookie is at the top of the championship point standing at the moment. So Gennaro Bonafide is the man to beat. Graham Nathan, his teammate and stablemate, right on his tail. Gary Fumado and Sean Duminy. A lot of work to do with the team Fords. We head into round 3 and look forward to the action. For more information on the Westbank Super Series, log on to westbankmotorsport.co.za.